As I said in my last video, I'm pretty sick. In the last 2 days, I used an entire box of tissues. I can tell you how much my nose is running and how I have not been able to catch it. So, anyway, this is part 2 to my series on how to make a epic car cinematic. Basically, what I do first is I go through and I look at all the files that I've recorded, and I usually plop them from my camera, which I don't have plugged in right now because it's right there. But I usually have it down here next to where my SD card is, and I bring everything into my import fast folder, which is all my videos and stuff. So I take it, and then I open up Premiere. Let's go to Carvlog. Let's open up the project that I created for this entire video. One second. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so I compile all the footage into my import drive. And then I take that footage and I plop it into Premiere. And basically my entire workflow is I plop all the footage, I bring it into the timeline in chronological order, and I go from start to finish and I cut everything to where I want it. So let's say I don't like some dialogue, I cut it out, and then I bring the rest of the clip forward, and then I cut the rest of the clip, bring the rest forward, until I get the streamlined storyline of what I actually want for a video. And then I take that and I start to do smaller edits throughout. So basically you can see that here. So as you go through this timeline, you can see that I went through and I got this clip. I was like, oh, maybe I don't like that, so I cut it. And then I cut it again back. And then it cuts to a new location. But this is all in chronological order. So as you go through, you can see the passing of time. And then when I get to the car edit, this is where it gets a little bit different. So as soon as I add something that goes with music, I'm looking for more of what works in a cohesive cinematographic, whatever the word is, kind of environment. So when I got to this first edit, the one of the Rice Mobile, the Civic, okay, so you can see that there's a flow to the entire clip. So I went through and I was like, okay, so I did this on accident where I went with like that with the camera where I dropped it like that. So I'm like, okay, I can add a transition there that leads into the next clip. So I added a counterclockwise spin. So it goes into the red car moving this way. But then the transition to the next clip needed to be smooth. So I move over where the camera's panning like this across in the same direction. And then it pans up to the same direction. And then I wanted to get a more defining shot of location. It was a car wash. What do you expect? It wasn't that exciting. So I added a bit of a color grade. So I did the RGB split. Well, I guess it's not an RGB split, it's a 3D split of the actual location itself. And then you can see that I zoom in once again. And I want to get that continuous motion. That's the biggest thing that breaks your edits. If you have one clip going this way, and then the next clip, when you cut, goes this way, it doesn't make any sense. So that's why you have to have the continuous motion here. So whether that means reversing clips or cutting clips to where you want them. Most of these clips are reversed, or, well, some of them aren't, but this one, for example, is reversed. This one here is reversed. I'm losing my voice already. Okay, we're good. But yeah, so I reverse clips, and then here's the big one. This one took me a while to get right, because I was experimenting with speed ramping and everything. So you can see in this clip that it pulses to the beat of the music. Yeah, so you see that where it goes in the middle there, where it pulses really fast with the beat, like right there. So that's a speed ramp. And then it speeds ramp into the next clip with Lance doing the peace sign. And on that little hi-hat, I don't know music, hi-hat, whatever. The little beat drop, I wanted it to slow down, so I added a negative speed ramp, so it slows down when Lance finishes doing the peace sign. Yeah, okay. That was my thinking there. So I'm cutting to basically the beat drop of the song. Um, yeah, so you can see that if you get if you can cut your videos to the beat, they have a lot more flow. They work a lot better when you're trying to show the audience a story. So that's what I was trying to show here. I really like my car. Don't get me wrong. It is definitely not the fastest. It's a base model Civic. It has VTEC. That doesn't mean anything, but it has VTEC. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to show the story. We actually had some people on the side of the road. I think it was actually this car here. Say your cars aren't that cool, and I was like, well, I mean, you're not wrong, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, and then I wanted to zoom in on this little Christmas tree here that I have hanging above the below the rear view mirror. So I was like, yeah, let's do good old Sam Colder zoom in, and it worked really well because the Christmas tree is actually pretty center frame. So when you zoom in here, yeah, so it pulses in perfectly, and yeah, the car wash is in the background. We changed locations instantly. It doesn't make any sense chronologically, but if you're doing an edit like this, it really doesn't matter. In terms of a vlog, you need a, I guess you could do it out of order, but I mean, the way that I do my vlogs need to be chronological. So, and so we're back to the vlog where I just VTech. Um, so I'm just doing everything in chronological, and then I get to the actual area where I do the edit of Mason's Jeep, which, okay, so this is something I need to work on personally. If you can see this timeline, I mean, it's not that complicated of a timeline, but you can definitely see there's a disparity in the beginning versus where my car is versus where Mason's Jeep is. I will admit, I did not put as much time into the edit with Mason's Jeep, but to be honest, I did not have as many clips of his car as I did with my car. That's my defense. Take it with a grain of salt, but yeah. And so when I uploaded the final video, this was actually a mistake. This clip was actually supposed to look like, where is it? This clip right here. It was supposed to look like this clip, but it ended up not working out. It's just blue. Things happen when your project crashes midway. I ran out of clips of Mason's Jeep that were actually good, so that's why I switched to the actual ending of the vlog. This is a much shorter video than expected. I was thinking it was going to be longer, but it's really not. You can see me in the reflection. Nothing much I can really do about it. I can't afford a polarizer or anything like that. So, yeah, so let's get into the deeper edits. So basically you can see here, wow, that really hurt my ears. You can see that I have the audio ramping in to where the edit's going to happen here. You can hear it slowly guiding in. Okay, so we get to the audio. Audio is pretty big in terms of edits. I find that getting the right song is very important. And it took me hours. Okay, not hours. Lucas, don't lie to the audience. It took me like 30 minutes to probably find this song. But once I did, I was like, okay, this is perfect because it has the perfect beat hits and it works perfectly and cohesively with the shots that I have and the amount of shots I have. So, and so for this first part, it didn't have any like heavy bass, so I went with the vocals. And I didn't want to go with the hi-hats here because that would require way too many shots or way too many cuts, and I did not want to do that at the moment. So I decided to do speed ramping, which is where you speed up the beginning of the clip, speed up the end. So you can see here that it does a speed ramp with the spin, and then it speed ramps out, and then it speed ramps up. Yep, okay. So anyway, yeah, no, that's just the main idea there. You just have to make everything flow correctly. What I use for my transitions is this thing. I'll link the video and the download. It's by this guy named Orange83. I found him quite a while ago. It was like a video called Sam Colder type transitions or whatever. I can't remember what the name of the video is. But Sam Colder, really cool guy. Everybody copies him, so that makes me like super basic. But the transitions are really cool, and I only use them very sparingly. And when it actually works, I don't just like do it to have a transition. Like, I feel like a lot of people plop a transition in there just because they can, and they don't think about what they can do to actually use it to its full potential. Like in this first transition, like I put the camera down so it's like a spin and then it spins into the next clip. Like that actually makes sense. Like if I were to do that between this clip and this clip, that would make no sense because it's like it's sliding. It's not spinning like a clock. But here it was actually spinning because this first clip had a spin. This first clip had a spin. The second clip had a spin. Therefore, it actually works. Like, and don't just overuse them. If the clip doesn't need a transition, don't use a transition. It's common sense. Okay, it's really not, but it's common sense. I need to blow my nose. I'll be right back. When you're actually using the camera to shoot these types of videos, you want to get as many shots as possible to actually have options in camera. Sorry, in editing. So you can see here, I have a lot of shots that I did not use. Like these, I had shots of going through the car wash. I had some steady handheld shots. I have one of inside the car wash here. Just a bunch of B-roll. One of Mason's light. Did not work because it wasn't in 60 frames, and my hands, it's like I have Alzheimer's, so yeah, no, it did not work. I have some of Mason's interior that I didn't use. Have this one of the engine that I was going to use originally, but didn't end up working out because I liked so I was going to originally use that here, but I like the continuation of the front to back to front instead of front to engine to front. It didn't make any sense when I thought about it. Had multiple shots of Lance inside the car, and most of these shots I did the shot over and over again. Not because maybe I did it wrong the first time. I mean, that was definitely the case for some of them. But just having those options when you're filming is one of the most essential things. Because let's say you have this perfect shot, but it's too short. You can't just go back out and make that shot because the lighting is going to be different. The environment's going to be different. Everything's going to be different. You're not going to be able to recreate that perfectly. So having these longer, shorter clips is essential. So that's how I went about making this video. I mean, really, I haven't done these types of videos before. I can't really do tutorials. It's not the type of videos I like to make. But if you really want to know how to speed ramp, if you really want to know how to do these Orange 83 transitions, I mean, I could show you, but he made a video specifically teaching everybody that's using his presets how to use it, so I can link that down below. It's free, by the way. It's completely free, and I thank him for that because it's absolutely amazing. It's definitely a working through experience type of ordeal. This is definitely not the first cinematic I've made. It's the first one I've really posted on the channel, but it's not the first one I've made. There was a sequence in the Singapore vlog that I posted. Is that on this channel? That might not be on this channel. I don't think that's on this channel. If you guys want to see the Singapore vlog, I can upload it. It was supposed to be like a multi-part series, but you know, procrastination. I didn't record a second episode, nor a third, nor a fourth. So there's only one episode, and it's of the actual flight's over. Had a really cool sequence in there of the Korean airport in Seoul. So that one was a really cool B-roll sequence that I did. This first one of the Civic is probably one of my most favorite things I've ever done because it's actually really smooth, and most of it is surprisingly handheld. I mean, there's a couple shots like this one that are with a gimbal, but this is handheld. This is handheld. This was a really tricky shot because I had to get down and actually angle the camera upwards while keeping it extremely stable. It was very difficult. Took several tries, but it turned out really well. This one, handheld. Most of these under the bridge ones, I think all of the under the bridge ones are hand. Yeah, you can see my ass in the reflection there holding the camera like a dumbass. So yeah, no, they're handheld. So as long as you know how to control the camera and use it efficiently, you should be able to get pretty smooth shots in camera without any stabilization. I mean, I have a Glidecam, I have a gimbal, but I barely ever use them because, I mean, it's really easy to get good smooth shots when you have 60 frames per second. And I mean, if you film in 24, it's a little more difficult, but if you have 60 frames per second, you can pretty much slow that down halfway and it looks pretty good. So if that's what you're going for, do that. Knowing your camera really helps as well. I have a Canon 80D. I've been using it for a little over a year, and I've gotten to know it really well. I've mapped all the buttons to where I wanted them. Trial and error. You get to know the camera as you use it, and it's really worked out. I really do enjoy the camera. The body's weight, it has battery grip. That always really helps. But yeah, if you guys want to see my setup, whether that be my editing setup, my camera setup, or anything else, please drop a comment or give a thumbs up to let me know as to what you want to see. But yeah, I believe that's probably everything for today. I do want to thank you for tuning in on the second part of this video. It did not really take me that long to do, but I just wanted to show you guys the thinking and the editing that goes into these types of videos. But some of the timelines on these videos are very, 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 very complicated. Okay, yeah, no, you can see this one. This is pretty complicated compared to this entire video. This one's much more complicated and took a lot more time than some of my other ones. But other than that, thank you all for watching. Don't forget, I upload every Friday at 12 in the afternoon, Pacific Standard Time. And I think that wraps everything up. I'm going to go get some sleep because I was coughing up blood. But other than that, I'll see you all later. Luke Swift, out for now.